All right, I wanted to do a video, show you what I'm working on here. This is my neighbor's XLT 1200 Yamaha jet ski. I think this is a 2004. What happens with these two-stroke jet skis is the oil lines are held in place with tie wraps. So I'm going to show you what we've got going on here. You can see that's where an oil line goes into that carburetor. Oil line goes into that carburetor. I've got them pulled, and it is a major job. It took me about an hour and a half to figure out how to get the exhaust off of this thing. But these oil lines are covered in these like wire bundle things. And so you've got an oil line here, and they use this clear type of oil line, and it gets hard, and it'll split down here at the end. And what you end up with, see all the two-stroke oil in the bottom of this ski? The oil lines shrink, and they pull off of these, and they start leaking, or they split and they start leaking, and you lose a cylinder. This one is quite full of two-stroke oil. So this one was getting ready to lose a cylinder. I actually had already lost one, and he went ahead and repaired it. It was the middle one, had zero compression. But if you fix the cylinder and you don't fix what caused the problem in the first place, you've wasted all your time rebuilding an engine. When the culprit was these oil lines. So I'm replacing these oil lines for him. He didn't have time to fool with it, so I told him I would do it. But this is a major job to get to these oil lines in the carburetor on these Yamahas. And I'll show you an 800 that I'm working on in another video. But yeah, this is a pretty big job. And if you own a two-stroke jet ski, you have this problem unless you're running premix. With the block-off plate for the oil pump, and the oil pump is always at the front. These are check valves, one-way valves for the that are in line. Now, I've heard that this part of the line here that goes to the pump before the check valve, there usually isn't a problem with that, and there usually isn't a problem with this line coming out of the oil tank. It comes down and goes into the oil pump there. But on my Kawasaki, even that main line split. They use this clear tubing, and it's no good. You need to replace it with a fuel line hose or something. And when you get ready to reprime these lines, you've got a bleeder on the Yamaha right here. You can take this screw out, and it'll gravity flow and get oil up to that right there. I haven't figured out what this little jewel right here is yet, but this is your bleeder for your oil pump line. Now, what I do, you can take the pump off, hook it to a drill, and turn it fast that way to get it to pump to all of your cylinders when you've replaced these lines. Or you can sit there and just keep cranking your starter over with a line open and then stick it on. I'm going to go back not with tie wraps like they do from the factory, which is not a good idea. I'm going to put Oetiker clamps on there with that yellow fuel line that lawnmower shops have. That stuff won't go bad like this does. So when you do a job like this, you need to do it right. Don't try to go cheap, because this is the weakest part of a two-stroke jet ski, are these oil lines. That's your weakest link in the whole system. The oil line splitting. A lot of people will block off the pump and run premix just to avoid this engine problem. But I have heard horror stories of people loaning their jet ski out, and they don't run, whoever they loan it to didn't run the premix like they were supposed to and blew the engine up that way. These have got to have oil in the fuel. And the system that it came with works fine. It's just that people don't do the maintenance that they should, because this is a pain to do this. They don't do the maintenance, it blows up the engine, and you end up with a wrecked jet ski